I'm sure we'll be able to come back in another year or so, and there will be a lot more that, like this that we can discuss. So I want to thank you all. This discussion was great, and we certainly reviewed a lot of information about treatment considerations for patients with type 2 diabetes. But I also want to ensure that each of you had a chance to share what's on your mind. I threw a lot of specific questions at you, but want to give each of you an opportunity to get some final thoughts in. So maybe Zach, I'll start with you and we'll kind of work our way forward. Just a minute or two on anything else that you'd like to either reiterate or things you might want to highlight that we didn't talk about.
So that's certainly a tall order of business. And I think what I would say go on two ends of the diabetes spectrum. On the one hand, I think that diabetes, the epidemic is growing, and whether it's growing quite as rapidly now or a little bit less, we know that all the bad things are going on, and all the availability of sugar-sweetened beverages and lack of physical activity are generating huge numbers of persons with prediabetes and diabetes. And so we're going to need re-engineering of society, not just of healthcare, to address much of these burdens. And then on the other end is the individuals who have the most complications of diabetes. And there I see really a lot of bright light coming ahead and enabling us to do a better job taking care of those people with diabetes who have chronic kidney disease, who have neuropathy, who have retinopathy, and who have cardiovascular disease. And there have been so many wonderful and encouraging developments in that space, and I see this as really important.
Great. Michael?
Yeah, to kind of build off of what Zach just said, I mean, it is an extremely exciting time to be in the diabetes care space. With all of the new things that we're finding, all of the new things that we can do with medications in terms of addressing, maybe finally addressing cardiovascular disease and the comorbidities of diabetes. But I think we also need to keep in mind that there are these big disparities that we've touched on several times through this conversation, all of us, and that we need to look at some of the simple things as well in terms of reaching out to the people where they are, in terms of individualizing our care to look at, what do you do for a living? Is this really a meaningful, and what am I telling you, is this a meaningful plan for you? Does it get at what you need? Does it get at what your hopes and dreams, aspirations, et cetera, are? And I think that we need to also work in disseminating the information down to, there's only 5,000 of us, right? As was just pointed out a moment ago. Disseminating that out and supporting the primary care providers and the other medical professionals who touch these patients very regularly, as well as community health people.
Great.
So I would say just making sure that we always keep the patient at the center of everything we do, and in a collaborative way, pulling all of our resources together, the provider, the patient, the plan. How can we effectively improve care, enhance quality, improve the member experience such that we eradicate diabetes is the ultimate goal. And again, we want to make sure that we do this in a collaborative way, because no one of us, as Zach said, can do it alone. The managed care cannot bear the responsibility, but we at the same time want to partner with the pharmaceutical industry, with the provider community, with large hospital organizations to make sure that we close the care gaps and reduce complications of diabetes.
Great.
Yeah, I would agree. It's an incredibly dynamic time in the world of diabetes, and I think there's this amazing opportunity with new tools, new treatments, with partnerships, and really this idea of it takes a village, which I think you brought up very nicely. And there's a role for us as sort of specialists to be able to guide that process. And certainly at Joslin, we're committed to partnering with lots of different organizations to improve diabetes care nationally and globally. And I do believe that this is a moment in time that we've really not seen in recent history, where so much can be done to implement things that we already know work and reach more people.
Great. Well, you guys have been a fabulous panel. It certainly made my job very easy as moderator. And so on behalf of the panel and the editors at the American Journal of Managed Care, we want to thank you for joining us, and I guess that's a wrap.